Hello and welcome. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran and you're watching the weekend edition of Newsnight on DD India and DD News, your prime-time destination for news and bespoke analysis. It's good to have you again with us. All right, on the show tonight, in a landmark decision, Parliament passes two key farm bills that will radically change the life of the Indian farmer. It is a big deal and we'll tell you why. Also on the show, three bills were introduced in the Lok Sabha that could simplify the labour laws and the implementation and also promote the welfare of the nearly 50 crore workers in the organised and unorganised sectors. Plus, news and updates from around the world, all that and much more coming up over the next 1 hour. But first, as always, the headlines. The Rajya Sabha passes the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. The Agriculture Minister says it will revolutionize the life of the farmer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates farmers on the passage of agriculture bills in Parliament, describes it as a watershed moment. The bills will transform the farm sector and empower crores of farmers. Union Home Minister Amit Shah welcomes the passage of the bill, says it will herald a new era of development. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says it lays a foundation for self-reliance in agriculture. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar says the bills empowers the farmers. The opposition creates a ruckus in the Rajya Sabha during the passage of the farm bills. Government condemns the unruly behaviour. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi says it exposed the opposition's intolerance. BJP President JP Nadda calls the opposition anti-farmer. The Lok Sabha discusses the COVID-19 pandemic, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2020 introduced in the House. The Women and Child Development Ministry signs an agreement with the Ayush Ministry to rid the country of malnutrition. Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani says it will contribute to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's resolve to ensure nutrition for all. India sets an all-time record high of 12 lakh COVID-19 tests in 24 hours. More than 6.37 crore tests conducted so far. Over 43 lakh people recovered from the disease. The recovery rate at 79.68% and fatality rate at 1.61%. And India provides a financial assistance of 25 crore rupees to the Maldives to help it mitigate the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Maldivian Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid thanks India, says India has proven that COVID-19 will not force it to close its hearts to the Maldivian people. All right, let me dive straight into our cover story. The Rajya Sabha on Sunday passed two key farm bills. They are the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. Now, they will be sent to the President for his assent. Once the President gives his assent, they will become the law.
Rajya Sabha passed two crucial bills amid ruckus by the opposition. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. Replying to the debate in the House, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said opposition to the two bills were politically motivated. He reiterated that farmers will continue to get adequate price for their produce. He also sought to allay fears that bills were an attempt to dilute the country's public procurement system.
ये पहली बार हुआ है कि इतना बड़ा 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए रुपए का पैकेज, 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का पैकेज प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कृषि के क्षेत्र को दिया है। मैं आपसे यह आग्रह करना चाहता हूँ, जो ट्रेड से संबंधित बिल है वह करेगा, भ्रष्टाचार को नियंत्रण करेगा, 3 दिन के भीतर सुनिश्चित करेगा।
Pratap Singh Bajwa of the Congress called the bills anti-farmer. Negating this allegation, BJP leader Bhupender Yadav said the bills will bring about a revolutionary change in the life of farmers. He added the bills will allow farmers to decide the price at which to sell their produce and also adopt ways to increase farm productivity.
ये जितने बिल आज लेकर आए हैं ये कंप्लीटली इल कंसीव्ड हैं, इल टाइम्ड हैं और कांग्रेस पार्टी इनको सीधे रूप से रिजेक्ट करती है।
खरीफ की फसल आई हुई है, बाजरा आने वाला है, अक्टूबर में इसको एमएसपी मिलेगी और विंटर सेशन में बताएंगे कि आपने कितने झूठ बोला। 24 तक हम सरकार में हैं।
All right, Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan is speaking in the Lok Sabha. Let's listen in.
का उदाहरण सामने नहीं आया जिसने अपने घर से कोरोना वॉरियर को अस्पताल जाने से रोका हो। तो उन सबको धन्यवाद देते हैं सदन की तरफ से। अध्यक्ष महोदय, प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में देश के 135 करोड़ लोगों ने, सभी मुख्यमंत्रियों ने, सभी अधिकारियों ने, सभी स्वयंसेवी संस्थाओं ने, सभी धार्मिक संगठनों ने और देश के साधारण नागरिक ने, सबने मिलकर पिछले 9 महीने से इस संघर्ष को बहुत ईमानदारी से लड़ा है। और जब हमने ये कहा कि इस देश को प्रधानमंत्री का अभिनंदन करना चाहिए तो उसका अभिप्राय केवल यही था कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने नेतृत्व प्रदान किया, सबने मिलकर उनको सहयोग किया। मुझे पिछले 9 महीने में एक दिन भी ऐसा नहीं लगा जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने देश के हर एक व्यक्ति को इस काम में साथ ना लिया हो, छोटी से छोटी बात के लिए कंसेंसस ना बनाया हो और सबने मिलकर ये काम किया। इसलिए सारे देश के लोगों को प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में इस काम को मिलजुल कर करने के लिए भी मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूं। यहाँ पर कुछ ऐसे बयान भी हुए जिसके आधार पर मुझे ऐसा लगा कि बहुत सारी जो हमारे स्मृति पटल से बातें हम भूल गए हैं। फरवरी के महीने में भी और मार्च के महीने में भी मैंने इस सदन के अंदर डिटेल्ड स्टेटमेंट दिया था, आपके सवालों के जवाब भी दिए थे और सरकार ने जनवरी में क्या किया, फरवरी में क्या किया, उसको सब चीज़ों को फरवरी में और मार्च में आपके बीच में चर्चा किया था। केवल स्मरण कराने के लिए ध्यान दिलाना चाहता हूं कि विश्व स्वास्थ्य संगठन ने तो 30 जनवरी को सबसे पहले दुनिया को चेतावनी दी थी कि कोई ऐसी बीमारी आई है जो एक इंटरनेशनल हेल्थ कंसर्न है, लेकिन हमने अपना काम 8 जनवरी को शुरू किया था। 17 जनवरी तक हमने सारे देश को डिटेल्ड हेल्थ एडवाइजरी दे दी थी, पॉइंट ऑफ एंट्री सर्वेलेंस शुरू कर दिया था, कम्युनिटी सर्वेलेंस शुरू कर दिया था और जब 30 तारीख को पहला केस भारत में आया था तो मैं हृदय से बधाई देना चाहता हूं अपने सर्वेलेंस के साथ जुड़े हुए लोगों का, डॉक्टरों का, हमारे दिल्ली में स्थित भारत सरकार के नेशनल सेंटर फॉर डिजीज कंट्रोल का, देश के इंटीग्रेटेड डिजीज सर्वेलेंस सिस्टम का, जिसने कि उस पहले केस के अंदर 162 कॉन्टैक्ट्स की ट्रेसिंग की थी और आज तक भारत के अंदर 40 लाख लोगों का कम्युनिटी सर्वेलेंस के अंदर उन्हें रखा गया। 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों की कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग हुई। एयरपोर्ट्स के ऊपर 15 लाख से ज्यादा लोगों की स्क्रीनिंग हुई। जब नेपाल में पहला केस आया तो उस बॉर्डर के ऊपर स्क्रीनिंग शुरू हुई, 16 लाख लोगों की स्क्रीनिंग हुई। आसपास के 5000 गांवों के अंदर वहां पर सब जगह पर ग्राम सभाएं हुई। ये सारा कुछ आप लोग शायद भूल गए क्योंकि इस विषय को बहुत समय हो गया। जब कोरोना भारत में आया तो दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट के लोग तो दूर, डॉक्टरों को और दूसरे लोगों को भी कोरोना के बारे में इतना विस्तार से ज्ञान नहीं था। 2 से 3 मिलियन लोगों के बीच में हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट से लेकर और बाकी सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स के, डिफेंस से लेकर और जितने भी लोगों ने इसमें काम किया, एयरपोर्ट के ऑफिशियल से, इन सबको भारत सरकार ने उसी दौरान ट्रेन किया, उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग की। फिर यहाँ पर लॉकडाउन के बारे में भी बहुत सारी चर्चा हुई है, तो सिर्फ स्मरण कराना चाहता हूँ कि 16 मार्च और 23 मार्च के बीच में देश में आधा दर्जन से 1 दर्जन के बीच में सरकारें या तो पार्शियल लॉकडाउन कर चुकी थी या पूरा टोटल लॉकडाउन कर चुकी थी। ये तो प्रधानमंत्री जी का विजडम है, उसको नमन करना चाहिए कि उन्होंने जब जनता कर्फ्यू किया तो वो शायद इतना बड़ा इनोवेटिव आइडिया था सारे देश को प्रिपेयर भी करने के लिए, सारे देश को देखने के लिए भी कि क्या देश इस बात के लिए तैयार है कि हम अगर पूरा लॉकडाउन करें तो किस प्रकार की स्थिति आ सकती है। और लॉकडाउन के बारे में भी बहुत सारी बातें कही गई हैं, उसके लाभ और हानि के बारे में मैंने अपने स्टेटमेंट में भी बताया कि 5 प्रोफेशनल इंडिपेंडेंट स्टडीज ने किस प्रकार से कितने केसेस और कितनी मौतें जो है उसके कारण प्रिवेंट हुई, उसके बारे में अलग अलग अध्ययन में उसके बारे में बात की गई है। वो समय कितना उस समय भयानक था, अगर हम उसको स्मरण करने की कोशिश करें। उन विषम परिस्थितियों में हमारी सरकार 2500 से ज़्यादा लोगों को वुहान से और इटली से और ईरान से और मलेशिया से और दूसरे स्थानों से यहाँ पर लेके आई। लैब की टेस्टिंग की फैसिलिटी ईरान में नहीं थी हमारे लोगों को लाने के लिए, तो यहाँ से लैब तक हम लोगों ने ईरान के अंदर शिफ्ट की। और बाद की परिस्थिति में तो आपने देखा कि 12 लाख से ज़्यादा जो भारतीय सारे दुनिया में स्टैंडर्ड थे उनको वंदे भारत के माध्यम से भारत के अंदर लेकर आया गया। जब देश के अंदर अभी कई लोगों ने स्टिग्मा की बात की, हमारे डॉक्टर श्रीकांत ने अंत में बात किया, जब हमारे डॉक्टरों को दूसरे लोगों के ऊपर एक स्टिग्मा लग गया था, लोगों को लगता था कि ये बीमारी लेकर आ रहे हैं, उनको कॉलोनियों में नहीं घुसने दिया जा रहा था, उनको फ्लैट्स में नहीं घुसने दिया जा रहा था, और वो अपने ही घरों के अंदर जो है दूसरे स्थानों पर जाकर जो है तकलीफ पा रहे थे। उस समय सरकार का विजडम था कि वो, जिसके ऊपर कल चर्चा भी होगी, एपिडेमिक डिजीजेस का अमेंडमेंट जो ऑर्डिनेंस लेकर आई, जिसके आधार पर यह तय किया कि अगर उनके साथ कोई भी बदतमीजी करेगा, बदसलूकी करेगा, उनके साथ मारपीट करेगा, उनको चेज किया गया, उनके साथ बहुत तरह के अन्याय हुए, तो उसके खिलाफ किस तरीके से उनके कॉग्निजेबल और जो है नॉन बेलेबल जो है कानून बनाया गया। और वो भी सरकार का विजडम था कि आज सारे देश में कहीं पर भी कोई हेल्थ का वर्कर, आशा वर्कर तक भी अगर उसको कोरोना के अंदर काम करते हुए किसी प्रकार से उसके प्राण जाते हैं, तो भारत सरकार उसके लिए 50 लाख रुपए के इंश्योरेंस की भारत सरकार ने व्यवस्था की है 22 लाख से ज़्यादा लोगों के लिए। ये समय समय पर जो जो चीज़ें जैसे जैसे, अभी बहुत सारे लोगों ने यहाँ हमारे मजदूर भाइयों के बारे में बात की है। मजदूर भाइयों को जो तकलीफ हुई है उसके बारे में तो हर एक के मन में जो है एक संवेदनशीलता का भाव है, उसके अंदर कोई डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन नहीं हो सकता। लेकिन गृह मंत्रालय ने उन विषम परिस्थितियों में कैसे सारी एसेंशियल चीज़ें, सर्विसेज को कैसे एक स्थान से दूसरे स्थान तक पहुंचाने के किस प्रकार के व्यापक अरेंजमेंट्स किए, और जब विषम परिस्थिति हो गई थी, लोग डेस्परेट हो गए थे, तो मत भूलिए कि सरकार के प्रयासों से ही 64 लाख जो है ये मजदूर भाई और बहन, ये श्रमिक एक्सप्रेस और दूसरी जो ट्रेन्स और जो बसें थी उनके माध्यम से ये अपने अपने गंतव्य स्थानों पर पहुंचे। अभी यहाँ पर वेंटिलेटर्स इत्यादि के बारे में बात किया गया, तो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि पीएम केयर्स फंड ने हमारे मंत्रालय को 893.93 करोड़ रुपया जो है 50,000 मेक इन इंडिया वेंटिलेटर्स के लिए दिया। एनडीआरएफ ने नेशनल डिजास्टर रिलीफ फंड के माध्यम से सारे देश की सरकारों को 11,000 करोड़ रुपए की व्यवस्था की गई कि वो अपने स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट फंड को इस काम के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं। हमने अपने नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन में सारे फंड्स को किस प्रकार से वो रीअप्रोप्रिएट करके यूज कर सकते हैं, इसके अलावा तुरंत ही 4,200 करोड़ रुपए जो है सारे देश की सरकारों को बांटा। और आज जो बड़े बड़े प्रधानमंत्री के गरीब कल्याण योजनाएं हैं, वो बहुत लंबी चौड़ी लिस्ट है, शायद समय की मर्यादा में उसको कितने करोड़ों लोगों को उससे लाभ हुआ उसकी चर्चा शायद करना संभव ना हो, लेकिन भविष्य में भी बड़े पैमाने पर कोई भी आगे पैंडेमिक आए तो उसको कैसे सरकार हैंडल कर सकती है। और उसके लिए स्वास्थ्य के लिए प्रधानमंत्री आत्मनिर्भर स्वस्थ भारत की योजना के तहत, जैसा मैंने अपनी स्टेटमेंट में भी बताया, 65,000 करोड़ रुपए का जो है पैकेज, उसके ऊपर जो है ऑलरेडी काम शुरू हो गया। उसके अंदर विस्तार से सारे देश में ब्लॉक।
Right, you were listening to the Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan speaking in the Lok Sabha on the COVID-19 pandemic in India, and he said that although WHO declared the coronavirus pandemic as an public health emergency of international concern on the 30th of January, but India had begun taking steps much before that. In fact, between 8th and 17th January, India had already issued an advisory and begun surveillance at the point of entry as well as at the community level. Right, moving on for now, Prime Minister Modi called the passage of 2 farm bills on Sunday a watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture. That and other reactions in the next report.
Union government, which has been continuously engaged in the welfare of farmers, has fulfilled the decades-old demand of the farmers. One country, one market, under which farmers can sell their produce anywhere at their own prices. 2 farm-related bills were cleared by the Parliament on Sunday. These bills will ensure complete transformation of sector and empower crores of farmers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called it a watershed moment. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister wrote, "A watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture. Congratulations to our hard-working farmers on the passage of key bills in Parliament, which will ensure a complete transformation of the agriculture sector as well as empower crores of farmers." For decades, the Indian farmer was bound by various constraints and bullied by middlemen. The bills passed by Parliament liberate the farmers from such adversities. These bills will add impetus to the efforts to double income of farmers and ensure greater prosperity for them. Our agriculture sector is in desperate need of latest technology that assists the industrious farmers. Now, with the passage of the bills, our farmers will have easier access to futuristic technology that will boost production and yield better results. This is a welcome step. System of MSP will remain. Government procurement will continue. We are here to serve our farmers. We will do everything possible to support them and ensure a better life for their coming generations. BJP President JP Nadda and Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar have termed the passage of bills as historic for farmers and slammed the Congress for opposing them.
जो हमारी विपक्षी पार्टी हैं, किसान विरोधी हैं, उन्होंने किसानों का विरोध किया और विरोध के साथ साथ उनको जो ये नई आज़ादी प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में मिली है, उसको रोकने का कुठाराघात किया और कुत्सित प्रयास किया। मैं किसानों को बधाई देता हूं और मोदी जी को धन्यवाद देता हूं, जिन्होंने ये प्रगतिशील विधेयक के माध्यम से किसानों को आगे बढ़ाने में और उसके उत्पाद का उसको सही दाम मिले, अच्छा दाम मिले, इसकी व्यवस्था की है।
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने न्याय दिलाने के लिए विधेयक बनाए, लोकसभा ने उसे पारित किया, आज राज्यसभा में थे और राज्यसभा में चर्चा ठीक हो रही थी, बहुमत से वो पास होने वाले थे। जब कांग्रेस को ये अंदेशा लगा कि वो बहुमत में नहीं है, तो उन्होंने गुंडागिर्दी पर उतर आए और आज कांग्रेस ने आपातकाल के बाद फिर एक बार ये सिद्ध कर दिया है कि इस कांग्रेस का भी लोकतंत्र और प्रजातंत्र में भरोसा नहीं है।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh hailed the passage of 2 big-ticket farm bills, calling it a landmark day for India's agriculture sector and farmers. He tweeted, "With the passing of 2 landmark agriculture bills in Rajya Sabha today, India has cemented the strong foundation of Atmanirbhar agriculture."
किसानों के बीच गलतफहमी पैदा की जा रही है। एमएसपी समाप्त कर दी जाएगी, एपीएमसी समाप्त कर दी जाएगी। मैं देश के किसान भाइयों को संदेश देना चाहता हूं, किसी भी सूरत में एमएसपी खत्म नहीं होगी। इतना ही नहीं, एपीएमसी जो है उसकी व्यवस्था भी किसी भी सूरत में खत्म नहीं होगी।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also described the bills as very important for farmers. She tweeted, "Parliament has cleared bills to reform agriculture sector. Farmers are now free to choose where and at what price they would sell their products. Farmers were demanding this for decades. MSP shall continue, APMCs will remain." Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad wrote on Twitter, "Parliament passed the historic bills freeing farmers from the clutches of middlemen and opening up new opportunities for their empowerment. This has been possible due to decisive leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and commitment towards farmer welfare." Hailing the move, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar tweeted, "Two bills relating to farmers' rights have been passed. This will give farmers a chance to sell their produce anywhere for a higher price and will end farmers' compulsion of selling at APMC. Wherever he gets a higher price, he will be able to sell."
आज भारत के किसान के लिए एक मुक्ति का दिन है। उनको एपीएमसी में ही बेचना पड़ता था अपना फसल, वो अब एपीएमसी में भी दे सकते हैं और बाहर भी दे सकते हैं। जहां ज़्यादा कीमत मिलेगी वहां दे सकते हैं। दोनों बिल, ये ऐतिहासिक बिल है, क्रांतिकारी बिल है।
BJP leaders from across the nation have welcomed the move.
मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी का धन्यवाद करता हूं, आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, कृषि मंत्री नरेंद्र तोमर जी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि उन्होंने इन किसानों को सुरक्षित करने के लिए कि कोई उन्होंने प्री एग्रीमेंट करना है तो कैसे करें, अगर कोई बाद का एग्रीमेंट करना है तो कैसे करें, इसी प्रकार से डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग अपनी करनी है तो कैसे करें, इसका एक रास्ता दिया है।
Farmers from all parts of the country have welcomed the move.
जो एक्चुअल में किसान है वो कोई इसका विरोध नहीं कर रहा। जो आड़ती का दबदबा था पूरे बाजार में, आड़तियाँ लूट रहे थे, उनको आड़तियाँ खा रहे थे, आड़तियों की दुकान बंद हो रही है।
आज किसान की आज़ादी है। अब तक हमने देखा जब किसान अपनी फसल लेकर मंडी में जाता था तो कुछ चुनिंदा लोग ही उस फसल की कीमत तय करते थे। जो कीमत उन लोगों ने तय कर दी, उस कीमत पर किसान को वो मजबूरी में अपनी फसल बेचनी पड़ती थी।
किसानों के बारे में जो अध्यादेश लागू किए गए हैं, देखिए उसके समर्थन में हम सभी किसान भाइयों को यही प्रार्थना करते हैं, हम भी किसान होने के नाते ये कहते हैं कि जो अध्यादेश लागू किए हैं वो किसान हितैषी हैं।
जो नया विधेयक आया है इसमें हमें बहुत से लाभ मिले हैं। जैसे कि हम एक ही बात ले लेते हैं, अपना अनाज उठा के मंडी में लेके चले जाते हैं, वहाँ लगातार एक हफ्ता 10 दिन तक हम मंडिया में लेटे रहते थे, अपने अनाज की रखवाली करते थे। उस टाइम ये बिकता था और महीना 2 महीना 3 महीने हमारे पैसे आने में लग जाते थे। जो ये विधेयक आया इसमें हम अपने खेत से भी अनाज बेच सकते।
सरकार जो विधेयक लाई है वो बढ़िया विधेयक लाई है। खेती का जो सामान है वो कहीं भी बेच सकते हैं। खेती में गेहूँ है, धान है, गन्ना है, जो कहीं भी बेच सकते हैं।
मोदी जी ने 3 किए हैं, बहुत अच्छे किए हैं। बीच वाले आदमी का सब मतलब हट गया इनमें। एक किसान के लिए फसल का पूरी प्रॉफिट मिलेगा।
With the new laws, farmers will be able to directly connect to marketing, which will eliminate the role of middlemen and they will get better price for their produce. With Parliament team, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
All right, so there you heard the political reactions to those 2 key farm bills. Now let me quickly walk you through the main features of these 2 bills. Let's start with the first bill, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. First of all, it gives farmers and traders freedom of choice to buy and sell. That's point number 1. Point number 2, it promotes barrier-free interstate and intrastate trade and commerce. It unlocks vastly regulated agriculture markets. It reduces the marketing costs for farmer and helps them get better prices for their produce. It provides for a separate dispute resolution mechanism for the farmers, and it creates additional trading opportunities outside the Agriculture Produce Market Committee or the APMC market yards. Moving on, it supplements existing MSP procurement system. MSP stands for Minimum Support Price. Now, this bill also paves the way for creating One India, One Agriculture market. Next up is the second bill. It's called the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. Now, it gives farmers a level playing field for engaging with wholesalers, retailers and exporters alike. It transfers the risk of market unpredictability from the farmer to the sponsor. It enables farmer to access modern technology and better inputs. It also reduces the cost of marketing and improves farmers' incomes as well. It attracts private sector participation for building the supply chains going forward. It also gives farmer access to technology and proper advice. It also offers direct marketing options by eliminating, I repeat, eliminating the intermediaries. It also prohibits a sale, lease or mortgage of farmers' land. It also protects farmers' land against any recovery. It gives an effective dispute resolution mechanism with clear timelines for their redressal. So that should give you a flavor, an idea of what the two bills are all about and the benefits they will accrue to the farmer community at large. All right, time for a short break. When we come back, we'll have guests over for a discussion in our In Focus segment. Keep watching Newsnight. Don't go anywhere.
India.
Namaste land.
Marhaban ila al-Hind.
Zari India.
Salam India. Namaste India.
Namaskar Bharata.
Muy
India.
Nahnu Hunud. India. Ma Hindi Hasti. Indian.
Salam Hindustan.
We are India.
Welcome back. Time now for our In Focus segment in which we are discussing about Parliament passes farm bills. PM Modi calls it a watershed moment. All right, joining me are two very special guests, Vijay Sardana, an agricultural economist, and Professor Ashok Viswandas. Professor Viswandas teaches applied economics at the Indian Institute of Public Administration, also known by its acronym IIPA. Is also former chairman of the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, which is attached to the Ministry of Agriculture. Gentlemen, welcome to Newsnight. Good to see you on our program. Starting with you, Professor Viswandas, help our viewers put this into context. Now, why was the need felt in the first place for these two farm bills?
Yes, thank you very much.
Welcome.
See, these are the watershed legislation and why it was required. Let me go briefly explain.
Please, yeah.
Gold is gold when it is sold. What farmers produce is no less precious than the gold. That the question arises then why the farmers' welfare has not been incommensurate with the development.
Right.
We as an Indian agriculturist have moved from net food importing country to self-sufficiency and to the net food exporting country. That means our agriculture policy has been by and large successful. But the farmers' income level has not risen commensurately. So obviously there is something missing. What is missing? Just two things. Getting the farmers' price right and getting the markets right. Now these two legislation will ensure both getting the prices right for the farmers and getting the markets right. And once we achieve these two things, farmers' income level will rise very, very high and they will be no less in a better financial position compared to the non-agriculture sector, and therefore the agriculture sector is likely to be more attractive like any industry. And let me also add, what was the 1991 delicensing Raj? What it did to in 1991 delicensing, the same impact will be on agriculture.
Right.
At that time, agriculture sector bypassed all the reforms. Now this is high time that agriculture sector, the problem are being addressed, and therefore I based on my analysis, I can say with a fair degree of certainty that this will do a lot better to the farmers and their
All right. Point well taken. Vijay Sardana, coming to you now. We are told, and correct me if I'm wrong, these two farm bills will create a conducive ecosystem for all the stakeholders concerned, be they the farmer, the government, or even the companies involved. Now, explain to our viewers, help them understand what it means for each of those stakeholders, the farmer, be they big farmers or small marginal farmers, the government, the APMC, the MSP system that's going to remain in place going forward as well. So what's in it for the stakeholders, be they, you know, wherever they are in the chain?
Very important issue you have raised. Let me explain in a very simple analogy so that everyone, those who are watching this program, can understand.
Absolutely.
Why we appreciate democracy over dictatorship. It is the same thing which these two bills have done.
Okay.
They have given democratic rights to farmers.
I see.
So far, they were under the dictatorship of APMC. This is a simple logic which we should appreciate. Now let me explain on it.
Sure.
In dictatorship, it was limit that you have to go to mandi. Nobody can talk to farmer. You have to come to mandi and pay the commission. Farmer has to bring the material to mandi. Buyer has to go to mandi, bear all the cost, all the transaction cost, no appreciation for quality, no rights, what to buy, what not to buy, no communication between buyer and seller. Everything has to be routed by middlemen who was exploiting both farmer and consumers. This was draconian dictatorship of APMC law till date. Now what this law will do, now these two new laws will do, they will bring democratic right to farmers, buyers and all the stakeholders. Means today farmer is free to decide when to sell, where to sell, to whom to sell. If he is not willing to sell, he has right not to sell.
Right.
He is not, if farmer is not happy with the price, he has a right to refuse. Buyer can go to the farmer and ask if he can work with him. He can give his requirement. If farmer agrees, they can negotiate the price and both can work together as per the choice of both of them.
Right.
If both agrees and if they find that this deal is win-win for both, they can sign an agreement and proceed. If farmer wants to keep the stock, he can keep the stock. If farmer wants to grow something else, he can.
I see.
There is no need for farmer to wait in the village or in the state. He can grow in Punjab and sell in Kerala. And most important, farmer so far in APMC mandi first has to harvest and go with the material to mandi so that he can sell the stuff. With the new contract, these new laws, farmer can sow the crop and already start talking to the buyer.
I see.
And based on the buyer, he can harvest the quality. Suppose I am a buyer of potatoes. I can tell the farmer can come and say, sir, I have, sown the potatoes. If you want, I can give you. I can say, very good, but I don't want a potato more than 7 centimeter or 5 centimeter. Can you give me? Farmer will say, yes, I can give you, provided you give me this much price. And if I agree to that, instead of growing crop for 10 centimeter, farmer will start harvesting at 5 because that is my requirement and that was our understanding. And I'm paying for it, which farmer is happy with. So what we are trying to say is that these two agriculture bills which are passed by the parliament today is bringing democratic right and freedom to farmers from a
point well taken, Mr. Sardana.
Law of APMC.
Indeed. Let me take that next question to Professor Vishen Das. Professor Vishen Das, imagine I am a small farmer, tending to my field, say in Punjab or in the southern state of Kerala. Now, imagine I'm a small farmer. I am told that, I might have some fears of my own. Are my fears misplaced, number one? And number two, what does one country, one market mean for someone like me who is a small marginal farmer either in Punjab or Kerala?
86% of farmers in India, as per the latest agriculture census, are small and marginal. That means their land size is less than 2 hectares, which is 5 acres.
Right.
And we have to address the majority of the farmers which fall into this category.
Right.
And the government, I'm sure, is conscious of this fact. And these legislation will help more to such farmers.
I see.
Because they are the ones who are greatly exploited. I myself has talked to at least 50,000 farmers all over the country in my work and done the research. See, I always believe the dignity of farmers is no less precious than dignity of yours and mine. Now, farmers were humiliated. I have seen with my own eyes when they are stranded in the APMC. They are mistreated. There is no facility for anything, whether it's drinking water, and they have to stay there for 5 to 10 days. And once they are put in such a condition, whether they like it or not, wishy-washy, they have to sell the prices so-called discovered by the mandi. That means Aratia and the Care cohort. Now, this is the one farmers are squeezed. They are exploited. Now, farmers. Now, what is the impact of this legislation? 2 pieces of legislation. Of course, I'm not talking of the ECA Amendment Act.
Very quickly, Professor Das. Very quickly.
Yeah, that I know. But the point remains, earlier the farmers used to walk to the mandi. Now, mandi will walk to the farmer's farm gate.
All right.
That is the difference, and that will ensure the dignity of the labor.
All right.
That is why. And I think once you are at your own workplace or your home, your psychological, everything changes, your body language changes, the kind of confidence they will have, they can negotiate.
Right, so as you mentioned, it will empower the small marginal farmers across the country, be they in Punjab or Kerala or anywhere else in the country. I'm afraid I'm running out of time. On that note, I want to thank both my guests, Professor Vishen Das and Mr. Sardana, for joining us on Newsnight. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Right, moving on for now, the government has introduced 3 bills related to labour laws, including on industrial relations in the Lok Sabha amid opposition with the Congress and few other parties. Here's a comprehensive report.
Heralding the path of game-changing labour reforms in the country, the government has introduced 3 bills related to labour laws in the Lok Sabha. These bills are Industrial Relations Code 2020, Code on Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Bill 2020 and Social Security Code 2020. Government withdrew 3 bills that were introduced last year and introduced these 3 new ones. While introducing the bills, Union Minister Santosh Gangwar mentioned that the Code on Wages has already been approved by the Parliament in 2019 and has become law of the land. These 3 bills introduced in Lok Sabha will pave way for simplification of labour laws and its implementation. They will also bring immense labour welfare measures to 50 crore workers in the country, both in the organised and unorganised sectors.
सदन को बताना चाहूंगा कि स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की जो चेयरमैन थे श्री भरथरी मेहताब जी, उनको बहुत बहुत हम बधाई देना चाहते हैं कि उन्होंने श्रमिकों के हित में बहुत अच्छी अनुशंसाएं की और उनको हमने माना। उन्होंने इन बिलों में 233 अनुशंसाएं की और उनमें करीब 174 अनुशंसाएं हमने मान ली और इन अनुशंसाओं में कुछ बहुत मूलभूत परिवर्तन हुए, लेबर कोड्स में किए गए और सोशल सिक्योरिटी कोड में प्रीएम्बल तक में भी परिवर्तन किया हुआ है।
On the recommendation of the Second National Commission on Labour had recommended that the existing labour laws be merged into fewer labour codes. Consequently, the government started the work on these lines. Since 2014, elaborate exercise of consultations with all stakeholders was undertaken, and as a result, 29 central labour laws are proposed to be reduced to just 4 labour codes. These codes will also bring the industrial peace and harmony in the country, which will immensely help India in bringing in much needed economic growth and will help in employment generation.
देश के विभिन्न स्थानों पर लेबर कोड्स के प्रावधानों पर विस्तृत चर्चा की। इन लेबर कोड्स पर 10 बार इंटर मिनिस्ट्रियल कंसल्टेशन भी हुआ। इसके माध्यम से दूसरे मंत्रालयों तथा विभागों के सुझाव भी लिए गए। इसके अतिरिक्त सभी लेबर कोड्स को मंत्रालय की वेबसाइट पर 2 से 3 महीने तक रखा भी गया, जिसके दौरान सभी हितधारकों के करीब 6000 से ज्यादा कमेंट्स भी प्राप्त हुए। इन कंसल्टेशन प्रक्रिया के बाद ही हमने लेबर कोड्स के प्रावधानों को उचित स्वरूप दिया। मंत्रालय की इस प्रक्रिया के बाद तीनों लेबर कोर्ट्स को पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी को भी रेफर किया गया तथा पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ने भी हितधारकों से विस्तृत चर्चा करने के उपरांत 233 रिकमेंडेशंस दिए हैं। इसमें मंत्रालय ने 174 यानी 74% रिकमेंडेशंस को स्वीकार कर लिया है।
All these bills were earlier introduced in the Lok Sabha in 2019, after which it was referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee as per the normal parliamentary practices for examination. And after detailed discussion with all the stakeholders, a report was submitted by the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Labour and Employment Ministry went through all the 233 recommendations, and 74% of the recommendations of the Parliamentary Standing Committee were accepted by the centre. The industry has also wholeheartedly welcomed the move by the centre.
We are able to be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, subsuming over 40 of the existing codes into exactly 4 of them. This will make it transparent, uniform across the country, and will avoid a lot of litigation.
A statutory right has been created for minimum wages and timely payment of wages to all workers, whether in organized or unorganized sector. It extends entitlement of minimum wages to all the workers in the country as against 30% of the workforce at present. At present, minimum wages are fixed for employment covering mainly mines sector. With inputs from Sudhakar Das, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Let me quickly run you through the main features of the labour reforms and their benefits for you, the viewers. First up, it simplifies the labour laws and its implementation. That's point number 1. Now, it also compresses those 29 central laws into 4 labour codes. Also, social security and safe working environment is provided to the workers at large. There's an effective mechanism for grievance redressal as well. Moving on, the method of fixation of minimum wage for rates has been simplified. The number of minimum wage rate to be 200 as against 10,000 before. And in central sphere, only 12 minimum wage rates as against 542. The revision of minimum wage will take place every 5 years, and a statutory concept of floor wage has also been introduced. So those are the highlights of the labour reforms to be proposed by the government. Right, moving on to the next story. The Ministry of Women and Child Development and the Ministry of Ayush on Sunday signed a memorandum of understanding for jointly addressing the issue of malnutrition. The principles and practices of Ayurveda, yoga and other Indian systems of medicines would be used for controlling malnutrition in mothers and children.
Poshan Abhiyan or National Nutrition Mission is Government of India's flagship program under the Ministry of Women and Child Development to improve nutritional outcomes for children, pregnant women and lactating mothers. The Prime Minister's initiative has got a major boost with the integration of Ayush systems. Ministry of Women and Child Development has signed a memorandum of understanding for realizing this integrative effort with the Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy on Sunday. The MOU will see some time-tested and scientifically proven Ayush-based solutions being adopted for controlling malnutrition in the country. Describing the MOU between the two ministries as a milestone in the efforts to eradicate malnutrition, Union Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Zubin Irani said that this move is an effort to bring science and Ayurveda on one platform so that the mothers and children can be freed from the menace of malnutrition. While Ayush Minister Shirupad Naik said that with Ayush being linked with Poshan or nutrition, the dream of malnutrition-free India will be soon realized.
पहली बार स्वतंत्र भारत के इतिहास में प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में योग, जो वर्षों वर्ष और शताब्दियों से भारत का गौरव था, उसे हम विश्व के सामने एक बार फिर बेहतर जीवन पद्धति की दृष्टि से स्थापित कर पाए हैं। लेकिन हमारे आंगनवाड़ी के आंगन आज तक योग की उस परंपरा से वंचित थे। जो MOU हम सब ने हमारे समक्ष समझौता करार होते देखा है, उसके आधार पर जैसा कि सचिव आयुष ने कहा, पहली बार ऐसा होगा कि एक पायलट टेस्ट केस में हम लोग चिन्हित प्रदेशों के चिन्हित आंगनबाड़ी में योग के हमारे प्रैक्टिशनर्स को भी भेजेंगे ताकि बाल्यावस्था में ही हम योग की शिक्षा अपने बच्चों के जीवन का एक अभिन्न अंग बना सके।
The Ministry of Ayush and Ministry of Women and Child Development actually agreed to work together to integrate the Ayush into Poshan Abhiyan and management of the malnutrition through the principle of practices of Ayurveda, Yoga and other Ayush systems. Visit of the Ayush workforce in Anganwadi centers, development of the Ayush nutritional garden in the premises of the Anganwadi center and the capacity building of Anganwadi workers will be definitely pave the way to addressing the demands of nutrition.
Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister, Dr. K. Vijay Raghavan, said that this move by Women and Child Development Ministry has helped in bringing science at the center of nutrition, which in itself is a praiseworthy step.
मुझे ये कहते हुए बहुत खुशी है कि वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट मंत्रालय जो इनिशिएटिव लिया है, जो विज्ञान को पोषण के सेंटर में ले आने के लिए, ये बहुत बढ़िया है। न्यूट्रिशन जो है, जो माँ और बेटी के लिए बहुत जरूरी है।
As part of the MOU, mothers and children will be getting access to Ayush interventions in Anganwadi Kendras across the country along with nutrition. The aim is to make children be in sync with such natural medical treatment systems so that as they grow up, they can realize the dream and vision of a healthy India in future. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Right, moving on, India sets an all-time record high of conducting 12 lakh COVID-19 tests in the last 24 hours alone. Till now, more than 6.37 crore tests have been performed. Over 43 lakh people recovered from the disease. The recovery rate is at 79.68% and the fatality rate at 1.61%. Here's more.
The government is committed to rooting out the COVID-19 pandemic. Large-scale efforts are being made in the battle against this pandemic. It's due to the effective intervention by the government that there has been continuous rise in recovery rate, while the fatality rate has been heading south. With the total number of patients who recovered crossed 43 lakh, it has led to recovery rate touching 79.68%. 60% of the recovered cases have come from 5 states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu alone. 52% new cases are also from 5 states. During the past 24 hours, 1,133 deaths have been reported. The fatality rate is 1.61%. While Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that there has been no significant mutation seen in SARS-CoV-2 in India, interacting with social media users during Sunday Samvad 2, Dr. Harshvardhan said that ICMR is actively exploring saliva-based test method. He said that the vaccine development is a complex process and trials have been restarted only after an independent investigative expert committee gave them the permission to go ahead. Meanwhile, in a boost to the battle against COVID-19 pandemic, one more step towards ramping up testing has been taken. The Drug Controller General of India has given regulatory approval to the Tata CRI-SPR test, Feluda, for commercial launch. This technology has been developed by CSIR and Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology. The Tata CRI-SPR test is the world's first diagnostic test to deploy a specially adapted Cas9 protein to successfully detect the virus causing COVID-19. The CRI-SPR test achieves accuracy levels of traditional RT-PCR tests with quicker turnaround time, less expensive equipment and better ease of use.
We are very happy to know that the Feluda technology, which was developed at CSIR IGIB and was licensed to Tata Sons, has now been approved by DCGI and is slated to be scaled up for market release very, very soon.
For tracing the disease, continuous testing is being ramped up along with required treatment. This is the reason for the fact that though new cases are on the rise, the number of recovered cases is making new records. With Nitendra Singh and Tapas Bhattacharya, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
The Lok Sabha on Sunday discussed the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Starting the discussion, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor said that most of the countries across the world have either managed to keep its country safe from the virus at the cost of the economy or have kept the economy running while experiencing the onslaught of the disease. In reply, Union Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan said that for the first time in the world, around 22 lakh people are insured for the coronavirus pandemic. He said during the COVID-19 period, 64 lakh migrant workers were sent to their native places by trains and buses.
आज सारे देश में कहीं पर भी कोई हेल्थ का वर्कर, आशा वर्कर तक भी अगर उसको कोरोना के अंदर काम करते हुए किसी प्रकार से उसके प्राण जाते हैं, तो भारत सरकार उसके लिए 50 लाख रुपए के इंश्योरेंस की भारत सरकार ने व्यवस्था की है 22 लाख से ज़्यादा लोगों के लिए। ये समय समय पर जो चीज़ें जैसे जैसे अभी बहुत सारे लोगों ने यहाँ हमारे मजदूर भाइयों के बारे में बात की है। मजदूर भाइयों को जो तकलीफ हुई है उसके बारे में तो हर एक के मन में जो है एक संवेदनशीलता का भाव है, उसके अंदर कोई डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन नहीं हो सकता। लेकिन गृह मंत्रालय ने उन विषम परिस्थितियों में कैसे सारी एसेंशियल चीजें, सर्विसेज को कैसे एक स्थान से दूसरे स्थान तक पहुंचाने के किस प्रकार के व्यापक अरेंजमेंट्स किए, और जब विषम परिस्थिति हो गई थी, लोग डेस्परेट हो गए थे, तो मत भूलिए कि सरकार के प्रयासों से ही 64 लाख जो है ये मजदूर भाई और बहन, ये श्रमिक एक्सप्रेस और दूसरी जो ट्रेन्स और जो बसें थी उनके माध्यम से ये अपने अपने गंतव्य स्थानों पर पहुंचे।
All right, take a look at what else is making news around India in our National Roundup segment. Former Prime Minister H.C. Deve Gowda on Sunday took oath as a member of the Rajya Sabha. When the House met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu called for oath-taking by newly elected members. After taking oath, Gowda greeted the chair with folded hands. Naidu remarked that former Prime Minister and one of the senior-most leaders of the country has come to the upper house, which is a good addition to the Rajya Sabha. The Met Department has predicted moderate to heavy rains in various parts of the country. Good rain is predicted in many areas of Delhi, Haryana and UP on 23rd and 24th September. Rainfall is also likely in Karnataka and Mumbai. The Weather Department has issued red alert for Kerala. Odisha also may witness heavy rainfall in the next 24 hours. The Delhi police busted an interstate drug racket and arrested a Nigerian national from New Delhi railway station with 250 grams of cocaine worth 20 lakh rupees in the international market. An FIR has been lodged against the accused at the New Delhi railway station police station. All postgraduate students pursuing MD or MS in broad specialities in medical colleges across the country will have to undergo a compulsory residential rotation of 3 months in district hospitals as part of the course curriculum in the academic session 2020-21. The main objectives of the district residency program is to expose postgraduate students to the district health system and involve them in healthcare services being provided at the district hospital for learning while serving. India has provided financial assistance of $250 million to the Maldives to help it mitigate the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. A handover ceremony was held on Sunday at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Maldives government to mark the occasion. Speaking on the occasion in Hindi, Maldives Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid said India has proved to be a great friend during this difficult time of pandemic.
एक ऐसी महामारी जिसने हमें अपनी सीमाओं और अपने घरों को बंद करने को मजबूर किया है, लेकिन हमारे मित्रों ने हमेशा की तरह ये साबित कर दिया कि ये महामारी उन्हें अपने दिल के दरवाजे बंद करने पे मजबूर नहीं कर पाई, और भारत ऐसे मुश्किल समय में भी हमारा एक महान मित्र रहा है.
To international news now. Ahead of the 21st September high-level commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, a group of prominent former government and UN leaders are calling on current world leaders to take action to strengthen the UN system. In an open letter titled A Time for Renewal, calling for a strengthened multilateral system, which was released on Friday, 49 former UN and government officials from around the world expect the 75th anniversary of the 193 nation body to lead to a stronger, more accountable and inclusive multilateral system. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte voted in Rome on Sunday for a constitutional referendum to reduce the number of lawmakers in the lower and upper houses of the country's legislature. Italians began voting in a raft of local ballots and a referendum, with the ruling coalition under pressure in its first electoral test since the coronavirus crisis. Voters have largely approved of Prime Minister Conte's handling of the pandemic, but recent opinion polls suggest that this will not help his coalition allies in the vote for the heads of 7 regions and mayors in almost 1,000 towns. Drone footage from southern France showed a mobile home being swept away by floodwaters. Heavy rainfall caused Weather Authority Meteo France to issue a red alert for the Gard area. The Civil Security Authority said 650 rescuers had been scrambled. The fire service said it had rescued dozens of people, including by helicopter. Many European countries are seeing a resurgence in the number of newly confirmed COVID-19 cases. In the UK, the number of people who have tested positive for the coronavirus rose by 4,422, the highest daily increase since 8th of May. The total number of COVID cases hit 3.9 lakh, while the total number of coronavirus-related deaths rose by 27 to 41,759. British Health Minister Matt Hancock said a second national lockdown was one possible step to curb the spread of the coronavirus. If everybody followed the rules, then further national lockdowns could be avoided, but Britons had to be prepared to take action if that is what was necessary. South Korea on Sunday extended level 2 social distancing for a week until 27 September, which limits indoor gatherings to below 50 and outdoor to less than 100. The authorities are expected to announce social distancing policies for the 30th September to 2nd October Chuseok holiday in the coming days. The country has a total of over 22,000 infections with 383 deaths. And that's a wrap, but news continues here on DD India and DD News. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.